Year 8, I hope you are all well. This video is going to accompany your work set for this week, looking at creating a viewpoint using language. Hopefully by the end of this video, you will be able to understand what is meant by a viewpoint, what is meant by creating a voice, and then hopefully providing you some small tips on how to use language to make our viewpoints more effective. Okay, so a viewpoint is a person's opinion or point of view on a particular topic. Now, you will find that your viewpoint is affected by the type of person that you are, so your personality, the experiences that you have had, the upbringing you might have had, or maybe any roles or jobs that you have had in your lifetime. Therefore, it is likely that you will have different opinions as your friends and your family, and that's absolutely fine. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to a viewpoint. When we write about our viewpoint, it's a perfect opportunity to be able to explain, persuade, or even argue your point of view. And to do this most effectively, we need to be able to be using language in a compelling way in order to hit that purpose of viewpoint writing, which is to explain, but actually in your case this week is to persuade your readers to agree with your opinion, okay? To make them believe what you are saying is right. So, moving forward over these next couple of weeks, you're going to be asked to write and create a voice, okay? Now, sometimes you might find it difficult to think of what your opinion is on a particular topic asked of you, and that's fine. You might not have the knowledge or experiences on that topic for you to be able to give a clear and strong opinion on it. And this is where this term voice comes in. You know, creating a voice doesn't have to be your own opinion. Instead, you're putting yourself in the shoes of someone else, someone who will have a strong view on the relevant topic asked of you. Okay, so if we look at the example on the video here, some parents today are overprotective. They should let their children take part in adventurous, even risky activities to prepare them for later life. Now, as you can see, a couple of voices, different perspectives you could use for this statement is the likely and obvious overprotective parent. They may feel strongly about the need to protect their own flesh and blood. You know, allowing them to do what they want is too dangerous and too risky. But then in contrast, you could create the voice of a young child who, you know, is likely to strongly agree with this. They will find, you know, risky activities fun, exciting. There's that need to seek adventure for children, okay? And actually, lastly, that's not actually on the slide there. You could think about the voice of a doctor or maybe a psychologist who might agree that experiences shape children and allow them to grow in confidence and independence, all kind of key skills for later on in life. So the example that I am going to use for you guys today is this statement, about overprotective parents. Now, this isn't the statement you are asked to write about, but I'm hoping that from it you'll be able to approach it in a similar way to myself. So what we need to think about is what your viewpoint is, how you're going to express your viewpoint, and why this is your viewpoint. Okay, so why do you think in this particular way? So thinking about what our viewpoint is, we need a strong introductory paragraph creating a clear point of view using language. So in this first paragraph, it's really important that you are clear in firmly stating your point of view on this. You don't need to be using some of these phrases that are on the screen here, okay? So banned phrases are I agree that, I disagree that, this statement is wrong because, okay? These are not good examples of creating a viewpoint using language effectively. You know, we are better than that. We are more sophisticated than that. So instead, we're going to provide our reader with a clear viewpoint using language techniques and rhetorical devices to ensure we do have an effective and compelling opening paragraph. You'll have seen these techniques before, so listed here. So these techniques are all examples of good devices to use to ensure we are being clear and persuasive. So the first one here, listed here, we've got direct address. So referring to the reader directly using the second person pronoun you. This really does help to engage the reader, as there's the feeling that by being addressed directly, the text is specifically for them. Okay. Alliteration is the second one listed here, a group of words beginning with the same letter or sound. This is highly engaging. It sticks in the reader's head. Okay, we've got facts and opinions there. Rhetorical questions, so questions that don't require an answer. Again, they help to ensure the reader is engaged, as if they are being addressed, the text is more relevant to them or seems more relevant to them. Repetition, of key words or phrases really helps to emphasize important points of our viewpoint. Emotive language, so these are words that elicit a powerful emotional response. So this could be happiness, sadness, anger, pity, jealousy, etc. A triple or list of three, okay. Imperatives, so our command words. And then on there, the last one is statistics, so numerical facts or data, which do make our writing more authoritative and accurate, and therefore more believable for our reader, okay. So on top of these techniques that we want to be using, in terms of language, we also mean up-leveling our vocabulary. Now, this is something that we do try to get you guys to do in lessons. So being ambitious and creative when it comes to our word choices. So some examples I have here, we've got the adjective nice there, which, we're all better than that word. That can be up-leveled, to something like enjoyable, okay? But that can be further up-leveled to this word diverting, so something that is, quite amusing and entertaining. And then similarly there, we've got the verb crush, which can be up-leveled to this idea of defeat, which, gives that more of an emotional response. And that could be up-leveled to this word suppress, okay, to put an end to something quite forcefully. So these are how we will express our viewpoint in our writing, and we're going to look at an example now. So here we have an example of an introductory paragraph, and this is using the voice of a parent who is disagreeing with this statement. So I'm taking on the voice of an overprotective parent here, okay? So every parent has experienced the indescribable joy when they see their child for the first time. Feelings of an uncontrollable protective nature are impossible to suppress. As a parent, it is an undisputed duty to look after your child, your kin, your flesh and blood. Their safety is the most important thing in the world. So you can understand the concern, the worry, the fear we parents have in allowing our babies to seek out hazardous adventures for themselves. We can't let this happen. It is our job to protect them. Okay, so there's no I disagree with this statement, because instead you will see devices and up-leveled vocabulary has been used. So first and foremost, we've got this sentence here. So, feelings of an uncontrollable protective nature are impossible to suppress. Okay. This sentence very much makes it clear that the viewpoint on this statement is completely, against what they're saying. Okay. It's in a parent's nature to be protective of their child, and this cannot be changed. It's basically what they're saying straight away. Okay. So it's clear what they believe, what their opinion is, what their viewpoint is. We have a list of three, okay, which is, again, a technique we're looking for. So your child, your kin, your flesh and blood, all right. As well as that, you've actually got that repeated your in there, which again is quite effective of getting that reader involved, ensuring that reader or other parents actually feel involved, they're included. We've got direct address, okay, so you can understand. So here, the concern, the worry, the fear we parents have. So actually in there we've got that inclusive pronoun we as well, which again is quite effective in providing that sense of involvement here for our readers. That many people believe this or think in this particular way. So again, it makes it more believable. What's also very effective about this paragraph, this opening paragraph, is the use of ambitious vocabulary, which is something I really want you guys to focus on when you go to do this work yourself this week, okay? So we've got this idea here of uncontrollable protective nature. So we've got a nice up-leveled word there. We've got suppress, okay? are impossible to suppress. So that word we looked at earlier, again, a lovely up-leveled word. We've got undisputed somewhere. As a parent, it is an undisputed duty, okay? So, this idea of being accepted or unchallenged, okay? So that is, again, an up-leveled word. We've then got to end this idea of hazardous adventures. So a bit of an up-leveled word there, of dangerous, okay? So something really, really good and effective to help us use language to create our point of view. So something we want you to focus on in this piece of work, okay? So what you need to be thinking about when you are writing your response this week, your introductory paragraph and your first content paragraph, is a planning process of why this is actually your viewpoint. So in the main body of your viewpoint, you're going to need to think about why this is your viewpoint. So you need to be going into detail as to why you think in this particular way, or why your voice, your perspective of the person you're taking on thinks in this way, okay? So you obviously will be thinking about why others might be having this strong viewpoint. And so here we've got a few notes on the voice of, firstly, of an overprotective parent on the left-hand side here, okay? So thinking about if we were leading on from that introductory paragraph, these are a few ideas we could go into detail in our main body of our response to answer our viewpoint more effectively, okay? So we've got this idea of protection of emotional pain, such as disappointment and failure, which is maybe a reason why parents feel they need to be protective of their children. So I might go into in detail with that. Second paragraph, I might look at this idea that it teaches children to be cautious in their decisions if we're being quite overcautious with what we are asking them to do, what we want them to do, sorry. And then a third paragraph I might look at is this idea that it shows that you care and love them. So with that idea of love, that comes keeping them, away from these unsafe situations. So that's part of a parent's role. I might just dwell on that idea as well. So there are a few ideas, and as you can see, and what we would like you to think about is having a different topic for each paragraph that you write. And there I'll have 3 clear paragraphs with different topics that help me to answer why this is my viewpoint. On the right hand side here, though, I've just included, again, just a different kind of perspective, another voice. So maybe the idea of a child, or someone who is agreeing with this statement. So the first paragraph there, I'm thinking maybe about that life is about experiences. Okay, so I might dwell on that idea. Second paragraph, it's likely to become increasingly, or you're likely to become increasingly insular. So by that I mean quite narrow-minded in terms of culture, people's ideas outside their own experience of things. And then maybe I might have a third paragraph developing confidence and independence skills for later on in life. Okay, so like I just said, here we'll have a new topic in each paragraph that will allow our viewpoint to be clear and effective. Okay, so even though we have not necessarily asked you to write a full response on this, planning what you would do is a good thing to do and will help your ideas in the first paragraph and your first content paragraph to make more sense. Okay, so here is the task that you are asked to do this week. Okay, so the day 2, if we're separating it into 2 days, is asking you to create a viewpoint and a voice. Okay, and hopefully from what I've said to you earlier, you will now understand what a voice is. Now, the statement that you are asked to write about is this one here. Children should be allowed to choose what they eat. They don't need parents, doctors or experts telling them what is good for them. Okay, now you need to be thinking about with this just what we said earlier about these banned statements. We don't need to be using these kind of statements to make our introductory paragraph effective. Okay, these will do the opposite of that. Okay, so we want you to write your own introductory paragraph from the perspective of two different people, okay? So these two different people here, again, not using any of these statements. Now, just to help you think about a couple of ideas for each of the people that we're asking you to put your shoes into, okay? Person one, a doctor that works in a GP surgery and is seeing the damage that poor diet is having on young people, okay? So just a few ideas there. You could have, or they could dwell on this idea that sweet foods ruin children's teeth. So there's that decay to teeth. You could then think about, as a second paragraph, future risk of health issues, okay? And then maybe I could have a third paragraph developing on this idea that children haven't really got that informed choice on nutrition. You know, they don't know what's good or bad for them, okay? So it's about the parent's role to guide them into the right food choices, okay? And then on the right hand side there, you've got person two. So again, we're asking you to put yourself in the shoes of a parent who believes it is up to their child what they eat, okay? And again, a few ideas for this one. You could think about, depriving children of sweet foods is cruel. You know, that's something they enjoy. All right, I might dwell on that for the first paragraph. Second paragraph might look at, so letting them eat what they want is a way of settling children, calms them down. And then a third paragraph, I might focus on this idea of, it's a treat to reward for good behaviour, okay? And maybe dwell on this idea that it boosts our morale, allowing what we want to eat, okay? So there are just a few reasons, if you're struggling to think of why these persons might have this viewpoint, there are just a couple of ideas that might help you to get going on this piece of work this week. Okay, so just to conclude then, Year 8, within our introductory and content paragraph for each of the voices, we want to be using language effectively, and we will be doing this by using the techniques on the screen here, okay, on the right hand side, as well as consciously thinking about the sophistication of our vocabulary, and that, using a thesaurus, okay, to up-level our word choices. And you might not have access to a thesaurus at home, but there's an online thesaurus that everyone will have access to. So please use that, okay? Please use that to help you really think about your word choices, up-level them, make them more ambitious, more creative, okay? Now, just a quick reminder then of where you can submit your work. I've had some, really excellent work from Year 8 students, and we would just like a few more. So have fun with this, Year 8, experiment with language, and we really do look forward to seeing and reading what you produce, okay? Whether that's submitted through Show My Homework, by email, your online document, or send a picture, we don't mind, or your OneNote page if that's something that your teacher has set up for you. Okay, so take care, Year 8, and see you soon.